Hi, I'm Ardy Arianpour, and I come to Malta from San Diego, California. And it's a pleasure to be here today. What's amazing is everyone's been talking about health data. Everyone's been talking about patient centricity. Everyone's been talking about various different platforms. What I am going to tell you and show you today is an operating system for the future of healthcare and how we have taken innovation and actually executed on innovation, because innovation is meaningless unless you actually can execute on it. And so maybe you have watched a movie called Back to the Future, right? Raise your hand if you've seen the movie. You'll all recognize this car. The future of patient-centric healthcare is now with Seqster. And the reason being is because we are all seeking health data. It doesn't matter if you're a pharma company, a provider, a payer, a patient, a parent. At the end of the day, we are all seeking health data. That's what this conference, MedTech World, is really about. That's what every single conference that I ever attend is about. It's all about seeking health data. And so Seqster is so fitting for that. So what does the future really look like? When you put the person at the center of healthcare, you can disrupt all their data silos, whether that's their electronic health records, genomic DNA profiles, whether that's your wearables or your remote patient monitoring devices, bringing together all the demographic data, pathology reports, imaging reports, really painting a 360-degree view of a patient is what every single person in this room and outside wants to do. But how do we do that? There's a lot of data that's been siloed. That's something that nobody at this conference has been talking about. People have been talking about platforms. People have been talking about the big problems. But what they have not actually talked about is every single data is siloed. And there was another talk a couple hours ago here that was talking about data rights. At the end of the day, it's your right to own your data. It doesn't matter if you're from San Diego, California, or Helsinki, Finland, or Copenhagen, Denmark, or somewhere in Germany or Malta. At the end of the day, you own your data. You own your body, not the provider. But that data is being siloed. So just think about the impact in medicine. We are all losing by all these guys siloing our data, right? So what we did at Seqster, we built an operating system, not a platform, because a platform is one-sided. At the end of the day, you have to think of use cases as to how do you bring patients, people, all of us. It doesn't matter if I'm the CEO and founder of Seqster. At the end of the day, I'm a user, I'm a patient, I'm a member of some plan, depending on where I live and depending on what type of chronic illnesses I have, or depending on what type of DNA is within my body, and is it changing? And that real-time data is so important for advancing medicine. And so we created this operating system for healthcare where we're able to connect all of your data in one place by the patient being in control of that. And we don't own the data. That's another thing people haven't talked about at this conference yet. Data ownership rights belong to the patient under GDPR and under HIPAA. It doesn't matter where in the world you are. If you have breast cancer, that data is your data. It's not your oncologist data. Your oncologist gets consent to show and share that data so you can get better care. And at the end of the day, we're bringing patients and their data and a clinical trial or study together in one place. And that allows us to work on real-world evidence because we bring real-world data together in one place. Now, like I said, the future has arrived. If you remember the first slide, it's all about Back to the Future, right? And the reason being is because we can get data from 1985 on a patient, the retrospective data, in order to create a true longitudinal profile on any patient, whether that's 1 or 1 million, if it's a COVID-19 screening trial that Pfizer or Moderna are running. Now, that longitudinal multidimensional data set with the researcher, the patient, their data pieces, and that pharma sponsor save hundreds of millions of dollars because the most extraneous process in any clinical trial is actually collecting data. After, today, go home and call, your husband, your boyfriend, your family member, and try to collect all the data, and then go try to share it somewhere. It's impossible. It is the number one problem in all of healthcare. It is the electricity that keeps everything running, but yet we silo it. We turn off the lights. We've built an operating system so that the sponsors and our partners can turn that on. Now, this operating system is for all stakeholders, right? It's not just for patients. It's for researchers. It's for scientists. It's for innovators. It's for everyone, because without collaboration in medicine and in science, whether you're an entrepreneur or a physician or a research scientist, you have to collaborate in order to innovate. And in order to innovate, you have to have real use cases that you can actually execute it on. And so for patients, managing their care better diagnosis to treatments, and also involving even caregivers. Imagine your families. You're in Malta. Imagine something happens right now wherever your family is. Imagine being able to access their data through an operating system from Malta, or if you got a notification. Because in real time, that's the difference between life and death. Now, what's really interesting is for the industry, we get drugs and devices to market faster, and we improve the real world evidence and HEOR. The operating system for the patient journey is interesting too, because we view and manage the patient data in one place, right? Starting from the provider all the way through the clinical researcher, and then whether you're in that recovery, the caregiver, most of the time is a mother, it's not the father, because it's women who are driving health. It's not men, actually. Men don't care about their health. It's the moms and the wives and the girlfriends that tell the guys to go to the doctor. Raise your hand. How many, guys have gone to the doctor in the last, year? 1, 2 maybe, right? So raise your hand if you're a woman. How many times have you gone to the doctor in the last year? At least once, yes? Because you go see an OB-GYN. And women care about their health way more than men. Well, some. So the operating system for patient engagement here, communication between patients and researchers, streamlines clinical trials, right? And the care management. But more importantly, the future of patient-centric health data is Seqster. And as you can see here, I even own the license plate Seqster, so if you try to buy it in the state of California, I own it. You can't buy it. But what's that? Yeah, you can buy it in Malta. And if you do that, then you have to take a picture with me, Stefan. But, we founded Seqster on the premise of sharing all your data. Data sharing can only happen if the patient is involved. Data sharing can only happen if you consented. We are currently working with AbbVie, Boehringer Ingelheim. We're backed by Takeda Pharmaceuticals. We are working with United Healthcare Group, a big payer in the US. We're working with CROs. We're working with patient registries, the National Pancreas Foundation of the United States. We're building the largest patient registry powered by Seqster. We've built the Intel chip, basically, that does this all. And how it's possible is it's not a platform. It's an operating system. The same way that you can pull out your phone, and your phone, you have multiple different apps, or you go home on your laptop and you have a desktop and you have maybe a PC and you're running Windows, or you have an Apple computer and you're running Mac OS and you're upgrading it every year to whatever that operating system is. And then you're running, let's say, Microsoft Word, you're running Microsoft PowerPoint. We have built the operating system for healthcare so that if you want to type an essay, you can type an essay. If you want to do a presentation on PowerPoint, You can do a presentation on PowerPoint. I'm using these as analogies because they've never existed in the data ecosystem, and they've never existed without pharma helping to build us. Thank you so much. I'm here for the rest of the conference if anyone wants to learn more, and you can find me on LinkedIn. They spelled my name wrong. It's Arianpour, but first name Ardy. Just type in Seqster, and happy to connect. I'm here till Saturday. Thank you.